Blood pooled on the sticky floor of Maxiali Dreams the dimly lit bar in Idiwan where Amara wiped down tables for minimum wage. The man slumped against the wall shouldn't have been beautiful, not with that gash across his ribs, not with death creeping into his eyes, but he was. Sharp cheekbones, lips going pale, and a hand reaching for her throat. "Help me," he whispered in Korean, fingers trembling inches from her neck, "or I'll make sure you never see morning." Amara's hands moved before her brain caught up, pressing her apron against the wound. She didn't know she was saving Kim Yi-won. Didn't know he controlled half of Seoul's underworld. Didn't know that in 3 minutes, when his men kicked down the door, her ordinary life would shatter like cheap soju bottles. She definitely didn't know he'd already decided she belonged to him. 3 days earlier. The pregnancy test sat in Amara's bathroom trash, negative for the 3rd month in a row. She stared at her reflection, dark brown skin, exhausted eyes, braids pulled back in a ponytail, and felt nothing. 5 years in Seoul and she was still broke, still alone, still pretending her fine arts degree from Howard University meant something while serving drinks to drunk businessmen. Her phone buzzed, ran overdue notice. Beautiful. "MRSSI," Mrs. Park's voice crackled through the apartment's thin walls. "Package for you." The box was small, wrapped in purple silk. No return address. Inside, a single black lotus pendant on a silver chain and a note in elegant Hangul. "For the woman who doesn't know she's already been chosen." Amara's stomach twisted. She'd been getting these gifts for 2 weeks, always expensive, always anonymous. The jade bracelet, the vintage Chanel scarf, the first edition of Toni Morrison's Asterisk, beloved that cost more than her monthly salary. She should have gone to the police. Instead, she clasped the necklace around her throat, feeling its weight settle against her collarbone like a brand. Work that night was the usual chaos. Maxiali Dreams catered to a specific crowd, foreigners looking for authentic Korea, Koreans looking for foreigners, and people looking to forget. Amara was wiping down the bar when she felt him watching her. Corner booth, expensive suit, eyes like black diamonds that tracked her every movement. Kim Yi-won, though she didn't know his name yet, sat with 3 men who looked like they ate nails for breakfast. He never looked at his companions, never touched his drink, just watched her with an intensity that made her skin prickle. "Table 7 needs service," her manager grunted. Of course, Table 7 was his table. Amara approached with her customer service smile locked in place. "Welcome to Maxiali Dreams. What can I?" "You're wearing it." His voice was silk over steel, speaking English with a British accent that didn't match his face. "The necklace." Her hand flew to her throat. You've been sending." "Sit down, Amara." "How do you know my name?" "I know everything about you." He gestured to the empty seat beside him. His men shifted, hands disappearing inside jackets. "Your visa expires in 4 months. Your student loans are drowning you. Your ex-boyfriend Marcus posts pictures with his new wife every Sunday, and you still check his Instagram at 2 a.m. when you can't sleep." Amara's blood ran cold. "I'm calling the police." "Sit down. Not a request this time." She sat. Yi-won slid a photograph across the table. Amara, age 6, holding her grandmother's hand outside their church in Atlanta. "Your Hermione raised you after your parents died in that car accident. She taught you Korean folk songs. You were her treasure." "Don't you dare talk about her." Amara's voice shook. "She's dead. You have no right." "She's not dead." The world tilted. "What?" "Your grandmother, Mercy Thompson, very much alive, living in a nursing home in Busan under the name Park Mi-sun." He produced another photo, recent, color, of a woman Amara would know anywhere, even with white hair and wrinkles she didn't have 15 years ago. "That's impossible. She died. I went to her funeral. You went to a funeral. Wrong body, right paperwork. Your Aunt Clara needed the life insurance money for her gambling debts. Your grandmother needed to disappear because she witnessed something she shouldn't have. A professional arrangement." Amara couldn't breathe. "You're lying." I can take you to her tomorrow. Let you hear her voice. Or, he leaned forward, and she smelled expensive cologne mixed with something darker. You can keep serving drinks to men who grab your ass and call you asterisk exotic, wondering why your life feels incomplete. What do you want from me? Yiwon's smile was terrible and beautiful. Everything. Before she could respond, his phone buzzed. His expression shifted, calculation replacing charm, and he stood abruptly. We'll continue this conversation. Soon. Wait, you can't just. But he was already gone, his men flowing after him like shadows. Amara stumbled to the bathroom and vomited. Then she pulled out her phone with shaking hands and dialed the only number she had for family in Korea, her mother's cousin, Uncle David. Amara, it's midnight, what? Is Grandma Mercy alive? Tell me the truth. Silence, then, how did you find out? The phone slipped from her fingers. 2 days earlier. Uncle David met her at a cafe in Gangnam, looking older than his 50 years. I should have told you. God, I should have told you. Start talking. Amara's hands wrapped around her coffee cup so hard her knuckles went pale. Your grandmother was a nurse at Emory Hospital. She saw something during a late shift, a senator's son being treated for a gunshot wound, evidence being destroyed. The people involved had connections, real power. They made her a deal, disappear or disappear permanently. She chose you, chose life. Why Korea? Your grandfather was Korean, remember? Before he passed, he made arrangements. Papers, a new identity, protection. Protection from who? Uncle David's eyes shifted away. It's complicated. Uncomplicate it. There are organizations, Amara. Korean, American, mixed. They move money, people, secrets. Your grandmother's testimony could have destroyed one of their networks. Coming to Korea was supposed to make her untouchable. Neutral ground. And the man sending me gifts, Kim Yiwon. Uncle David went white. Stay away from him. Whatever he wants, say no. He's not someone you can survive. Tell me what he is. He's the reason your grandmother is still alive. Uncle David's voice dropped to a whisper. And he's the reason she'll die if you refuse him. Amara left the cafe and walked for hours through Seoul's neon-drenched streets, her mind spinning. She passed couples taking selfies, street food vendors, laughing teenagers, normal people living normal lives. She'd never been normal, not really. That night, another gift appeared outside her apartment, a file folder. Inside, photographs of her grandmother, eating lunch, reading in a garden, alive. And a plane ticket to Busan for the next morning. She didn't sleep. At dawn, she packed a bag. 1 day earlier. The nursing home overlooked the ocean. Amara stood outside her grandmother's door for 10 minutes before knocking. Come in. Mercy Thompson, Park Mi-sun, sat by the window looking exactly like the photograph and nothing like Amara remembered. Older, frailer, but those eyes, still sharp enough to cut. Baby girl, her grandmother's voice cracked. Look at you, all grown up. Amara crossed the room and collapsed into her arms, 15 years of grief pouring out. They held each other and cried until there were no tears left. Why didn't you contact me? Why didn't you? To keep you safe, to give you a life. Mercy stroked Amara's braids, but now he's found you anyway. Yiwon. The Lotus King. Her grandmother's expression hardened. That's what they call him. He controls the Black Lotus Syndicate, weapons, information, people. He's brilliant and brutal, and he never loses. What does he want with me? Mercy pulled back, studying her granddaughter's face. You look like her, your great-grandmother. She was Yiwon's grandfather's first love, a black woman who sang in jazz clubs in 1950s Seoul. She broke his heart when she left. That's insane. He's obsessed because of a family resemblance. Men like Yiwon don't have hobbies, baby. They have obsessions. And you... She touched the Black Lotus pendant still around Amara's neck. You're his. I'm nobody's. Then run. Tonight, I have money hidden, contacts who can get you to. The door opened. Yiwon stood in the threshold, flanked by 2 men. He looked at Mercy with something almost like respect. "Mrs. Park, still beautiful after all these years. You promised to leave her alone if I stayed quiet." "I did, and then your granddaughter became more interesting than silence." He turned to Amara. "We're leaving, now." "No." He moved so fast she didn't see it coming. One moment he was by the door. The next, his hand was wrapped in her braids, pulling her head back, exposing her throat. "You don't get to say no, not anymore." "Let her go." Mercy tried to stand, but one of Yi-Won's men pushed her back down. "You have two choices, Amara." His lips brushed her ear. "Come with me willingly, become what I need you to become, or I kill everyone you love, starting with grandmother, and take you anyway. Either path ends with you in my world, but only one path lets them live." "I hate you." "You will, and then you'll love me, and then you won't remember the difference." He released her, straightening his suit. 5 seconds. Amara looked at her grandmother, saw the fear, the resignation, the love. "I'll go." Which brought her here, to Makjiali Dreams *, 3 nights after she agreed to enter Yi-Won's world. She was supposed to start tomorrow, moving into his compound, learning his business, becoming his. What? Assistant, prisoner, bride. But tonight, she was still just Amara, still serving drinks, still free for 12 more hours. Then the door exploded inward, and men with guns flooded the bar, and someone was screaming, and Yi-Won materialized from the back room, blood spreading across his white shirt. "Down," someone shoved her. Gunfire, glass shattering, Yi-Won moving like water, like death, knife appearing in his hand, throats opening. When the silence came, 6 bodies decorated the floor. Yi-Won stood among them, breathing hard, bleeding harder. "You," he gasped, pointing at Amara. "Come here." She should have run, should have called the police, should have done anything but cross that blood-soaked floor and press her apron against his wound. But she'd already chosen, 3 days ago, the moment she took his deal. His hand wrapped around her throat, gentle this time, almost tender. "Mine," he whispered. "Finally mine." The door kicked open. Yi-Won's men, heavily armed, securing the scene. One of them, a scarred woman with dead eyes, looked at Amara and smiled. "Welcome to the Black Lotus, sister. Boss, we've got a problem. The item was stolen. The Russians know her face. They'll come for her now." "Let them try." Yi-Won's grip on Amara's throat tightened possessively. "We're moving the timeline. Everything happens tonight." "What timeline?" Amara's voice shook. "What item, what?" "The reason I chose you, little songbird." Yi-Won's smile was terrible and beautiful and completely insane. "Your grandmother didn't just witness a murder. She stole something. The key to a 30-year-old mystery worth $500 million. And she hid it in the one place no one would ever look." "Where?" His bloody fingers traced her collarbone. "In you." Amara's world narrowed to the feeling of Yi-Won's fingers against her skin, tracing patterns that felt like ownership. "What do you mean, in me?" "Not literally." He swayed, blood loss making him unsteady. The scarred woman, introduced curtly as Minjai, caught his arm. "Though that would have been poetic, your grandmother encoded the location in something she knew you'd keep forever, something personal." "I don't have anything from her. I thought she was dead." "You have her voice." Yi-Won's eyes gleamed with fevered intensity. "The songs she taught you, Korean lullabies with words that don't quite match the traditional versions. She changed them. Hid coordinates, access codes, names. You're a living safe deposit box, and you don't even know what's locked inside your memory." Minjai pressed gauze against his wound. "Boss, you're losing too much blood. We need to move." "Then move us." He never took his eyes off Amara. "All of us, the safe house in Itiwan, initiate protocol black." Everything happened too fast. Amara was lifted, carried, shoved into a black SUV that smelled like leather and gun oil. Yi-Won collapsed beside her, his head falling onto her lap like they were lovers instead of captor and captive. "Why didn't you just ask me?" she whispered, stroking his hair without thinking, her hands moving on instinct. "If you needed information, why the gifts, the stalking, the—" "Because asking implies you have a choice." His eyes fluttered closed. And I learned long ago that giving people choices means watching them choose wrong, choose to leave, choose to betray, choose everyone but me. The vulnerability in his voice startled her. This was the Lotus King, the man who just killed 6 people with his bare hands. "Stay with me," she said, and didn't know why. "Always." His hand found hers. "You'll never be rid of me now, Amara. I'm sorry for that. I'm not sorry for anything else." The safe house was a penthouse apartment with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Seoul's skyline. A doctor was already waiting, young, nervous, clearly terrified of Yiwon. "Fix him," Minjai ordered. "She watches." "What? No, I don't need to see." "You're his now, you see everything." Minjai's smile was sharp. "Welcome to your education." Amara watched them cut away Yiwon's shirt, revealing a body mapped with scars. Bullet wounds, knife marks, burns. A life written in violence on skin that should have been smooth. The doctor worked quickly, stitching, bandaging, injecting something that made Yiwon's breathing even out. Through it all, he watched Amara with an intensity that made her feel naked. "The songs," he said finally, voice rough. "Sing one now." "I don't." "Errang asterisk, your grandmother's version, sing it." Amara's throat closed. She hadn't sung since the funeral, since she'd stood over an empty casket and let her voice break on notes that felt like goodbye. But Yiwon was looking at her like she held his life in her mouth, and maybe she did. She sang. The words came back easily, muscle memory stronger than grief. "Ararang, ararang, arario, ararang gagiro neomiaganda." But her grandmother's version had always been different. Extra syllables, strange emphases. Amara had thought it was just an old woman's fading memory. Now she heard the code. Yiwon closed his eyes, lips moving silently, translating. When she finished, he smiled. 37 degrees north, 126 east, depth 15 meters. Access code 1953 August moon, beautiful. She hid a fortune in a folk song about heartbreak. "What fortune?" "The Nakamoto files," Minjai spoke from the doorway. "Evidence of a money laundering operation that's been running since the Korean War. American military officials, Korean politicians, Japanese yakuza, all working together. Names, accounts, everything. Your grandmother was the anesthesiologist in the room when they thought she was unconscious. She heard everything, photographed everything with a camera hidden in her necklace." Amara's mind reeled. "And she encoded the location in lullabies. That's insane." "That's survival." Yiwon sat up slowly, wincing. "The people she overheard have spent 30 years looking for those files. They've killed hundreds. Your grandmother was smarter than all of them. She turned her granddaughter into an unwitting courier. So take the information. Get your files. Let me go." "Can't." He stood, swaying, and crossed to her. "The Russians who attacked tonight, they're working for the Choi family, old Korean aristocracy with American political connections. They know I've found you. They know what you represent. If I let you go, you're dead in 24 hours. Then put me in protective custody, witness protection, something." Yiwon laughed, bitter and sharp. "The police, half of them are on the Choi payroll. The Americans, they're the ones who helped cover up the original murders. There's no safe place for you, Amara, except with me. You're a criminal. I'm your criminal now." He cupped her face with hands that had killed tonight and would kill again. "And you're going to help me destroy everyone who's been hunting your grandmother. Then you're going to stay, build a life in my world, because that's the only world where you survive." A phone rang. Minjai answered, listened, and went pale. "Boss, we have a problem." "Another one." "The nursing home in Busan. It's gone." Amara's heart stopped. "What do you mean gone?" Minjai's expression was carefully blank. "Burned. 2 hours ago. No survivors reported." "No." Amara lunged for the phone, but Yiwon caught her. No, she was safe. You said she was safe." "I had 12 men guarding her." For the first time, Yiwon looked shaken. 12 of my best. The Choi family must have sent an army." Amara's knees buckled. Yiwon caught her, held her while she screamed. while the world ended for the second time in her life. When she could breathe again, something had changed inside her. Grief crystallized into something harder, sharper. You said you'd protect her. I tried. Not good enough. She pulled back, wiping her eyes. You want those files? You want to destroy the Choi family? Fine, I'll help you. I'll sing every song, decode every message, become whatever weapon you need. But when this is over, when they're all dead, you let me go. Yi-won studied her face. You're not the same girl who walked into my bar 3 days ago. That girl died tonight, just like her grandmother. Amara's voice could have cut glass. What's left is someone who understands your world. Violence for violence. Blood for blood, teach me. Something flickered in his eyes. Satisfaction, sadness. Be careful what you ask for, little songbird. Once you step into darkness, you don't come back clean. I don't want clean. I want revenge. Min-jae made a sound that might have been approval. Boss, we have the coordinates. We can retrieve the files tomorrow. No, Yi-won smiled slowly. We retrieve them tonight, before the Choi family figures out what Amara just gave us. Min-jae, assemble the team. Full combat load. We're going diving in the Han River, and we're going to paint it red if anyone tries to stop us. 3 hours later, Amara stood on a dock in Gangnam, wearing a wetsuit that cost more than her monthly rent, surrounded by men and women who killed for a living. The Han River stretched before them, black and glittering under city lights. The coordinates point to an underwater cache, Yi-won explained, suited up despite his fresh stitches. Old military installation from the 1950s, abandoned and forgotten. Your grandmother hid the files there 30 years ago and waited for the right moment to retrieve them. That moment never came. Why not? Because she chose you over revenge, disappeared rather than risk leading them to the evidence. He checked his diving equipment. She was stronger than both of us. The dive was surreal. Amara had learned scuba diving in college, a brief phase of trying to be adventurous, but she'd never gone this deep, this dark, with this much at stake. Yi-won stayed close, his hand occasionally touching her back, guiding her down through murky water toward coordinates only she had unlocked. They found it. A sealed military container, rusted but intact, chained to concrete blocks on the river bottom. Yi-won worked the lock with practiced ease. Inside, waterproof bags containing photographs, documents, microfilm, 30 years of secrets preserved in darkness. They surfaced to chaos. Gunfire erupted from the shore. The dock exploded in splinters. Yi-won's people returned fire, covering their approach. Choi sent everyone, Min-jae screamed over the noise. 30, maybe 40 shooters. They knew we'd come tonight. Impossible. Yi-won hauled himself onto the boat, pulling Amara after him. No one knew about. He stopped, turned slowly to Amara. What? Her blood ran cold at his expression. You think I... Your phone. Show me your phone. I don't have it. I left it at the bar. No, you didn't. He moved toward her with predatory grace. I can see the outline in your wetsuit pocket. Show me. With shaking hands, Amara pulled out her phone. The screen lit up, showing messages she hadn't sent, coordinates she hadn't shared, photos of Yi-won's safe house, his people, everything. I didn't send these. I didn't. Spyware. Min-jae grabbed the phone, crushed it under her heel. Someone's been monitoring her since before she met you, boss. This was a setup from the beginning. Yi-won's face went blank, the expression of a man calculating murder. Who gave you that phone, Amara? My uncle, Uncle David. He sent it as a gift when I moved to Korea. He said, the world tilted. Oh God, he said it was so we could stay in touch. Your uncle works for the Choi family. Yi-won's voice was dead calm. Has for 20 years. He's the one who helped fake your grandmother's death, the one who's been feeding them information, and he used you to find her, to find me, to find everything. No, he wouldn't. He already did. Min-jae pointed to the shore, where a figure stood watching the firefight. Even at this distance, Amara recognized Uncle David's silhouette. Betrayal tasted like river water and blood. Get us out of here, Yi-won ordered. The boat roared to life, speeding downriver as bullets chased them. "We're going dark. Abandon all safe houses. Protocol scorched earth." "And her," Minjai glanced at Amara. Yi-Won pulled Amara against him, possessive and protective. "She stays with me, every second, every breath, until this is finished." They lost the pursuers in Gangnam's canal system, emerging in a warehouse district Amara didn't recognize. Yi-Won's people scattered, executing whatever protocol scorched earth meant. Inside a concrete bunker that smelled like oil and old fear, Yi-Won spread out the retrieved documents. His hands moved quickly, photographing everything, uploading to encrypted servers. "These are extraordinary," he murmured. "Senators, generals, CEOs, 3 decades of crimes documented and signed. Your grandmother was sitting on enough evidence to topple governments. Why didn't she use it?" "Because using it would have made you a target." He looked up, and for once his expression was gentle. "Every choice she made was about keeping you safe. Even joining my world, she negotiated your freedom as part of her silence. Then I ruined everything by catching your attention." "No, I ruined everything by being unable to look away." Yi-Won stood, crossing to her. "I saw you 6 months ago, serving drinks, laughing with customers, being kind in a world that didn't deserve your kindness. I told myself I was just curious, that I'd watch for a while and move on. But you didn't. I couldn't. You looked like her, my great-grandmother in those old photographs, but you were nothing like her. She was hard, surviving in a country that hated her skin. You were soft, still believing the world could be good." His thumb traced her cheekbone. "I wanted to own that softness, keep it, corrupt it, make you as dark as I am so I wouldn't feel so alone." "You're insane." "Probably," he smiled. "But you're insane now, and you're going to help me burn down everyone who hurt your grandmother, starting with dear Uncle David." Before Amara could respond, the lights died. Emergency generators kicked in, bathing everything in red. "We've got company," someone shouted from the entrance. "How?" Minjai checked her weapons. "We weren't followed, I'm sure of it." Yi-Won went very still. Then he grabbed the documents, shoving them at Amara. "Run, back exit, don't stop, don't trust anyone." "What? No, I'm not leaving." "This isn't a request." He pushed her toward Minjai. "Get her out, whatever it takes." "Boss, if this is what I think." "It is." Yi-Won's smile was terrible. "My father found me, which means tonight either he dies or I do. Either way, Amara doesn't need to see it." "Your father?" Amara struggled against Minjai's grip. "What are you talking about?" "Later, move now." Minjai dragged her through corridors that twisted like nightmares. Behind them, gunfire, explosions, screaming. They emerged into an alley. A black car waited, engine running. Minjai shoved Amara inside. "The documents. Memorize what you can. We might need." A bullet took Minjai in the throat. She dropped, eyes wide with surprise, blood spreading. "No," Amara lunged, but hands grabbed her from inside the car, pulling her back. Uncle David smiled from the driver's seat. "Hello, sweetheart. We need to talk about your future." The car peeled away as the warehouse behind them exploded into flames. Amara watched through the rear window, seeing shadows fight and fall, seeing everything Yi-Won had built crumble. "He's not coming for you," Uncle David said gently. "His father will make sure of that. The Lotus King is dead. Long live the new regime." "Why?" Amara's voice broke. "Why betray her, betray me?" "Because the Choi family pays better than love, baby girl. Always has." He glanced at the documents clutched in her hands. "And now you're going to give those to me, and we're going to forget this whole mess ever happened." Amara looked at her uncle, at the documents, at the burning warehouse in the distance. Then she smiled. "You know what grandmother taught me, Uncle David? Besides the songs." She pulled the black lotus pendant from her neck. "She taught me that sometimes survival means becoming the monster." She pressed the pendant's hidden button. The car filled with gas, colorless, odorless, fast. Uncle David's eyes widened, his hands leaving the wheel as he clawed at his throat. "Yi-Won gave me this 3 days ago," Amara whispered as darkness took her uncle. Said it was insurance. Guess he was right. The car crashed into a lamppost. Amara kicked out the window, grabbed the documents, and ran into Seoul's neon-soaked night. Behind her, the warehouse burned. Ahead, sirens wailed. And somewhere in between, if he was still alive, the Lotus King was probably smiling. Because she'd finally become exactly what he needed. What he'd made her. His. Amara's phone, a new one she'd taken from Uncle David's pocket, buzzed with a single message from an unknown number. The nursing home fire. Check the survivor list. Your grandmother's name isn't on the dead. She's not on it at all, which means someone took her alive. Find me at the place where we first met. Bring the documents. Come alone. We have 3 hours before my father realizes I'm not dead and finishes what he started. This time, little songbird, you choose. Save her or save yourself. Either way, I'll be waiting. J. Below the message, a photograph. Grandmother Mercy, bound to a chair, very much alive, with a gun to her head. And behind her, a figure in shadows wearing a mask shaped like a white lotus. The phone buzzed again. P.S. I wasn't lying. You're mine, but maybe I'm yours too. Funny how that works. See you soon. Don't be late. She doesn't have much time. Amara looked at the documents worth $500 million. At the phone showing her grandmother's terrified face. At Seoul's glittering skyline hiding 1,000 secrets. She started running toward Makgiali Dreams *, where everything had started 3 days ago. Where everything would end tonight. One way or another.